A large part of self-evolution, spiritual awakening, expanding or ascending in consciousness is about completion of the programs or patterns of the previous stage. In order for you to fully emerge onto a new line, stage, or level of development, all parts of yourself have to complete the sagas and stories they were playing out in the previous stage. You are many selves. You are a physical self, a mental self, a spiritual self, an emotional self, a relational self, an affluent self, a creative self, a cultural self, an intuitive self, and so on and so forth. Each of these selves that you develop within your being as you get into relationship with waking reality or embodied reality develops, evolves, matures, and transforms. You and all the selves or identities you hold go through cycles of growth like everything else in the living multiverse, beginning a new stage and completing a previous stage, cross-fading in and out of different cycles of growth. Part of fully entering into or emerging onto a new or higher reality density is looking to see which parts of yourself are operating from the constructs and concepts of that new density and which are still operating from programs of the previous stage. Now, here the terms new and previous, when talking about these different reality frameworks or these different density levels, may make it seem like this is a linear or sequential process for you, like climbing a staircase one at a time. And that's something you want to flag for yourself, because these different frameworks or densities actually aren't linear or sequential. And framing them in that way for yourself may restrict your freedom to evolve in any which way you desire. So be mindful of how you construct your transition from one stage of development to the next, from one reality framework to the next. Don't let the limits of language confine you to your freedom to evolve and transform and transition into and from various reality frameworks in the way that's joyful to you, in the way that pleases you. Let's make this more concrete. Let's say that you're using the 3D and 5D maps of reality to make sense of your experience right now. You understand that 3D reality is all about matter ruling consciousness, meaning matter is fixed, it's unchanging, and consciousness, you, are stuck with whatever material cards you've been presented with. This is a framework primarily based on separation and strict cause and effect laws, where consciousness has taken on the assumption that physicality is all there is, and so is relating to others in the world through aggressive and forceful efforting. So matter acting on matter, matter moving through space, matter moving through time. It's a much more slower moving reality from one point to the next. Whereas in 5D reality, consciousness is primary and is beyond the rules, laws, and confines of matter, and ultimately space-time. Physicality here is secondary. It is an effect of consciousness. Here, the way consciousness relates to reality is vastly different. It's about flow. It's about feather-like intention rippling out to create change and reorganization of matter instantaneously. This realm is the realm of the observer-created reality landscape, where you are the observer. These two frameworks offer completely different approaches to reality. They map out completely different relationships to self, to space, to time, and to matter. They offer different constructs and concepts. They offer different definitions of self, relationships, and world. So you have two frameworks before you in this example, two worlds offering different means and avenues of experience. And you have an array of identities or reference points making use of the constructs and concepts of these two different frameworks to organize and reorganize reality. So now as you push forward on your evolution, continuing with this example of 3D and 5D reality, you find you begin to emerge into 5D reality. You notice you're attracted to different concepts, different energies, and different ways of defining, organizing, and experiencing reality. You more and more find that the concepts of the fourth density or 3D reality don't really appeal to you. In fact, they altogether seem severely outdated to you. What you want to do at this point, when you notice yourself transitioning into a new map of self, relationships, and world, is begin to take stock of all of your reference points. So when you're at that point where one framework no longer holds appeal to you, you take stock of all of your different selves, your physical self, your relational, mental, emotional, financial, tribal, cultural, and so on. Because you're looking at reality through a bunch of different reference points, identities or selves, you have to configure all of these reference points to align with the range of frequencies of this new or higher reality density, this new framework, this new landscape. And to fully emerge into this new, more appealing framework, this reality platform that is now pulling you in or drawing you in, you want to check and see if all those selves have upgraded or adopted the constructs and concepts of that new framework. It's like upgrading your operating system and then downloading the updates you need to run all of your programs on the new operating system. You have to go through your various identities and run the updates that you need to operate effectively in the new framework. And these updates don't have to take you months or years either. By simply gliding your awareness through all of your reference points, you can bring to light what aspects of yourself need further enlightenment, need further updating and upgrading. You don't have to make this difficult or complicated. It can be as easy and fluid as you're willing for it to be.